here in our Benin Network Center. We're going to be talking about the digitalization of the RMB. What does this spell for the global economy? What does this say? The introduction of the ECNY, that is the electronic Chinese yuan, into these platforms where you get to see it digitalized as regards to, you know, making transaction cross-border. Something that we've seen over time is the US dollar dominate this space. All right, so we're going to see what that spells for the global economy, what that also spells for Nigeria, and just everybody at large. And with me to talk about that, I have Dr. Osaze Iyoha, who is a development analysis, economist, pardon, a development economist, and he joins us virtually from Canada. Good morning to you, Dr. Osaze. It's very good to have you on the program.
Good morning. It's exciting to join you here too. I, I
Likewise.
was always, yeah, thanks.
All right, so we've heard about the ECNY, the electronic Chinese yuan, coming into full digitalization, bringing the RMB to the limelight. We've seen that the 10 Asian country, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, come on board on this. What does this spell for the global economy? Could you really, you know, explain this for the layman who is trying to understand what this spells for the global economy?
Yeah, so it's simple. It's just part of economic, you know, um, the international politics that we have in just international politics, rift for global dominance. That just summarizes it, and it probably has just been. It's always been there. It's I think since 2016. That's when China made conscious efforts towards projecting their currency to be able to match international reputation. But I think it just all accentuated. There was just this global awareness, when US now started imposing sanctions on nations like North Korea, Iran, and so on. So, when the American government imposes sanctions on a nation, what it does is that the whole aim is to isolate the nation, isolate that country that sanctions have been imposed upon, so that they sort of strangulate you or twist you so that you um, play to whatever the demand they are requesting of you. So it was all China's, should I call it opportunistic, or a way of providing an alternative to avoiding those sanctions, so that those sanctions are not as severe as it's meant to be. And when the American government or the West generally and its allies in Europe, when they impose these sanctions, the way it hits the country upon which the sanctions has been imposed, the way it hits you hard, it's when the payment system, because what it does is, as I say, it isolates you from the other nations. And the way the channel through which this works is the SWIFT system. It's a payment system where almost every nation of the world is aligned. It almost sort of reads the entire nation. So whenever there's a transfer of payment, transfer of capital, even financial assets, when there's an exchange, the SWIFT system is the channel through which it takes place. So when you are sanctioned, you are just excommunicated or removed from that system, and that's why you see the the ban on Russia during the Russia-Ukraine war. That's what happened. Russia was removed from the SWIFT system or blocked. What China is just trying to do is provide an alternative so that when you are blacklisted or sort of blocked from the SWIFT system, there's an alternative route for which payments can be facilitated. So that's where the CNY, the ENY came in, you know. So the Chinese currency, which is the RMB, the renminbi, is they now put it on, just like you said, digitalize the currency, digitalize it so that there is now the digital system, the digital counterpart of their fiat money. So the whole system was put digitalized so that it now became like an improvement on the SWIFT system, which is SWIFT payment system, which is run by the West. And it brought some improvement, as I said. The SWIFT payment system traditionally it takes about 3 to 5 days for payments to be facilitated. When, for example, you make payments in Nigeria to someone in US, for example, it will take 3 to 5 days because what it does is that it goes through each of the financial intermediaries involved in the transaction. So it will go through as the Federal Reserve of America. So these various bus stops in between take time because it has to be verified, and that's why it's a trusted system. So just to put in, even when the Chinese have brought their alternative route, the SWIFT system is still very, very much trusted by most investors and countries because of that time it takes. So the 3 to 5 days causes a little bit waste of time. Why the Chinese alternative with the brought takes about 7 to 8 seconds. So you see that there's an improvement in the system. Yeah, so the Chinese, the ENY has come, it's just like an alternative. But for me, just to quickly put, it's an alternative to the system, but it's just a power structure America and the West generally, so that whatever, just someone like whatever the West can do, China can do better. That's just the whole
From your
essence. Yeah,
Dr.
yeah,
Osaze, I see that
yeah,
you not only see the global economic implications, you also see more. You've talked about sanctions. One that we can
yeah.
refer to is the sanction digitally that was put on Iran. So do you feel
Mm.
like this is more of the Chinese government asserting a kind of dominance, digitalizing the RMB that is bringing about the ECNY, as a form of cross-border payments? What is this really going to tell? I mean, even beyond the economic outlook.
Yes. So that's why I said it. So on the face value, it's an economic China or most economic watchers will tell you that, oh, it's an it's an alternative to the payment system of which the SWIFT has hitherto been providing. But on being realistic, it's just an economic power sharing. It's just an economic and war. Economic share of dominance. Both of China is wanting to drag the economic space, the international space, with China. That's just it, and have their own allies because China is trying to project itself as a world power. But in being a world power, you don't. It's just like a leader. A leader working alone is not a leader. So they want to have their allies. And in having allies, you have to be very strategic. It's just like in our national politics. The political leaders who are following are those who share money. So China is trying to get as much allies as possible. So to have the allies, if you cannot protect them from the American SWIFT system whenever there's sanction, then you're not a leader. So that's why they are providing this alternative
Thank
payment
you very
system so that
much,
whenever
Mr.
there's
Osaze.
sanctions, yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osaze, for your all-round analysis. I want to say that's a very broad one. I have a question. So you're saying from your analysis, what I could depict is that you're saying this is not China in competition with the US. You're saying it's not politics. You're saying they want to improve a means of trading. Yeah. If that's the case, if what I'm thinking is what you're saying, are you saying China is not in competition with the US? Are you saying China is not trying to dominate? They are trying to help the trading system. Is that what you're saying? Just for clarity of those who are thinking that this is China trying to be in the forefront.
No, so it's completely opposite. Value, it's China is providing this alternative ENY system to the SWIFT system. On face value, it is being painted as an improvement, but I'm saying that in reality, it's a competition for power space, for the international space. So China is introducing this to compete directly with the American and the West generally. So they are providing this system.
What does this, just as you round off,
Yeah.
what does this tell for the Nigerian economy? For Nigerians back home right here, what does this tell for us? The launch of the new digital economy by the Chinese government, that is the ECNY, the electronic Chinese yuan, as you said. What are the implications for Nigeria and Africa?
Yeah, so the implications are straightforward. So China has launched in projecting this ECNY. What they have done is that they've launched the Belt and Road Initiative, which is just the point I was trying to make was that they are trying to get allies. In trying to put themselves as an international power, they want to have allies. So they have launched this Belt and Road Initiative, which is trying to put infrastructure. They're trying to link their infrastructure to European countries, the entire Asia and Africa. So what they are doing is that they are launching projects linking China to different countries, and they have invested so far over $1 trillion. And it's projected that in the next 5 years, they will spend as much as $6 trillion. So what are they doing? They're launching projects in different countries, including Nigeria. So they give loans to various countries to set up infrastructure. So all this is meant to create a sort of ally. When they give you these loans, the American government is not doing that. The American has also launched different programs. Under Obama, they launched the Pivot Asia. Under Joe Biden, they launched the BB3W. Trump has launched the Blue Act. So all these it's a contestation for countries like Nigeria, third world nations. So China has done theirs. They are giving loans to all these developing nations. But the worry, answering your question specifically, is that they are giving these loans to these nations. They've been giving loans to Nigeria. They've been funding projects in Nigeria. And that's almost what analysts say, oh, that's probably the reason why Trump is showing an interest in Nigeria, trying to invade Nigeria because of our alienation to China. And it also has to be said that Nigeria is only one of the only three nations that has used the Chinese currency as part of our foreign reserve. So it's just
Thank you
that we
so
should
much,
be quite
Dr.
careful.
Osaze Ihoha, development economist, for those insightful takes. It's such a pleasure to have had you this morning on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, so as it stands, the digital representation of the renminbi, the RMB, is more than just a technological experiment. It's far beyond that, and we've gotten to take insights on that. And that's the end of our discussion right here from our Benin Network Center. We'll